All right, I had to my mic. My microphone was not connected. Welcome to Kamisha Reviews. I've been talking about this for about a week now. We have a special treat. We have welcome our members in the chat. Welcome everybody to the chat. I'm so sorry, I apologize. Welcome YouTube. We have Facebook. A Facebook group is in the building. We also have Twitch and we have Twitter in the building. Welcome everybody and Kamisha Reviews crew. Which I get the likes up, please. Members, we have a new emoji. Please post that in the chat. I was playing around being creative last night. I don't know. I was up late, preparing my questions and all this stuff, and so I started messing around with the membership emoji. So, guys, check out the new membership emoji, please. Okay, guys, look. We have the Walkaway Queen. Y'all check out her links. I have all of that in the description. I also posted it to the chat. And I know once my mods get in here. Monique got it. It's the smoke emoji. I got the smoke emoji and one more thing I posted and I can't remember, but the smoke emoji is my favorite for a lot of reasons. Anyway, we got 13 in the chat. Like the numbers are going up 16. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, please. I don't ask for too much. I don't sit here and beg for super chats. I don't ask for cash apps, even though they are welcome. But all I ask you guys for, please, is to hit that like button and subscribe. Okay, that's all I ask you for. And of course, Facebook, you can't do that, but you could just, do the little like thing, a little love, whatever. I can see it up here on the screen as well. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up the Walkaway Queen. We have Miss Tina from Ready to Love Potomac. Oh, the numbers going to go quickly. Come on, guys, hit that like button for me as I bring the Queen to the stage.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. It's just an evening almost. Woo.
I know it really is.
Hour.
Yes. All right. Look, wait a minute. I got my little red cup. You know how old school that is.
Listen, I went from tea to wait. I gotta be prepared. I'm about to hit that concert tonight, so I'll be a little litty.
You probably be a little late once you get done with this. But I want to say welcome, and thank you for doing this interview for a lot of reasons. Of course, everyone knows I respect it when you guys come on here because I know that I am kind of the rebel, the bad girl, the one that you're not supposed to interview with, etc., etc. And I appreciate and respect the cast that do come on here. It means a lot to me. So I wanted to say that start out. Real talk.
It's all love,
Yes. Okay, so I want to start out with a couple of members who had a question for you, and I will start out with that if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. One of the questions were, when were you over it? Seems this is exactly how they put it. I swear. When were you over it? Seems very clear that you were over the process.
Yeah. I actually was over it within the first week, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, to be very honest. I think coming initially, I kind of questioned the time frame of it because when I was bought in, I did not know what was going on. I didn't know anything about blind dates or curveball. Like, even when I was in the process, I still was questioning, like, what is going on? I'm used to 10 and 10 and, from me being a viewer. And so when I got there and I was just like, okay, well, when are we done filming? And they're like, okay, well, it's, a month. And I'm like, this isn't realistic to me. I was more prepared to get to know someone in 2 months versus, 3 weeks and, 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And I just knew that it wasn't realistic to me. And, I did start liking Demetrius. And so I think that kind of made me be like, okay, let me just see, but I just don't think our connection was that strong. And I think that's when I just really started tapping out when I realized that timing while filming was cutting into, my business as well as being with my daughter. Like I can balance out life, but to me, the saying is you pick and choose what you want to be around. And I just felt like my time was better well spent being with my child.
Period. And I'm a mama too. So if I had to make a decision, I mean, that and people didn't really. I said this myself. I said I want anybody to think about that she is a mother and her she doesn't have a teenager or somebody that's like I have college kids where I can whatever. She has I call them babies if they're under 10. So that's just how I do. And to me, I said she has a baby, so we have to understand. And I'll say this all the time: the people come on these shows when there's children involved. To me, it changes the game as far as being a cast member. Another question from the from my member that said, "What made the process hard for you? It seems like you weren't there mentally for the friends date."
By that time I had checked out. Definitely. By that time it was, I was only filming for 2 weeks. I'm gonna just put that out there. So as you guys see over a course of me being in 4 episodes, that's 4 weeks. But imagine all of that. You're trying to date, having 2-3 dates in a day, or 2 dates, and then I'm trying to be a mom, and then I am an entrepreneur. So, I'm trying to have to go out and do my products and ship out, and and it really came down to balancing and what was a priority. And I just knew that based off my heart and based off my soul and based off the connections, that they weren't going to last longer than filming. And I just had to realize, okay, well, there are genuine connections here. And I also took a look at that, and I just wasn't in that, in the process to try to steal anyone's man, to try to prove myself to anybody. It was just like, if it was a genuine connection and it was going to foresee itself out, then I was there for it. Nobody or no man there was, to me, putting in the effort, which I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I think they thought I was attractive, but I think it was just so much going on by the time I came in that the love part had kind of went out the window by the time I had got there. I think people were just more focused on making it either A to the end or focusing on the connections that they had. And I think it just left little room for me to really figure out, what do I do? And I was wasting my time.
So you saw red flags as soon as you got there. Not to be funny. I mean, you kind of quickly, because I feel like you got a different way of looking at it, because they all had been there and they all into the feelings or whatever. You came in off the roof like, I don't know anybody, So I just wonder, was your perception, was it easier for you to see the red flags around you where it's like, this is not for me?
Yeah, it really was. Well, one, you had other cast members trying to give me the backlog because production wasn't telling me anything. So then you have cast members who have been there from day one that are telling me about the drama, telling me about the cast members, telling me about the gossip. So automatically I'm looking like, how old are we? It kind of created an environment of high school a little bit. And when I was in high school, I wasn't about that life. So now that I'm a grown-ass woman, I'm not about that life, especially because that's not what I signed up for. If that's what I wanted to sign up for, I would have went on Bad Girls Club or, something where it was more chaotic. I really signed up just to either find love or to make friends. And unfortunately, in that environment, I was left with either or.
What was your expectations going into this, especially what you're saying about it being like it's high school? What, just you going in clean, what was your expectations going in? What was you, for yourself?
My expectations were based off me seeing the Atlanta and the Houston seasons. And even based off editing, they weren't DC, DMV were just they were, to me, a total different show compared to what I thought that I had signed myself up compared. And don't get me wrong, I've heard, about stuff that had went on in the other seasons, but even still, it doesn't seem like it compared even remotely to what we went through. And so I told, in a previous interview, I said, if I would have known that that's what I was coming into, I would not have signed up. I did not sign up to do exposure, but I would tell anybody straight up that I'm very aware that this is television. You know what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong, exposure was going to come with it, regardless of whether I was looking for love or not. It's television. So that wasn't the reason for me to sign up. I've been single for 3.5 years. I put in the work to, as an individual, work on myself, and I just felt like I was in a different space. Even me coming on the show, I had seen people make the statements of oh, she's a mother of a 2-year-old. And I'm like, wait, what? First of all, I have a whole village. Okay. Second of all, I can afford a nanny. Third of all, it's a balance. And my thing is, it's about making sure that I am being with someone that's going to be worth my time. Because outside of me spending time with you, I can be spending my time in a way more valuable, way. With my child, with my family, doing things that I love to do. And I just felt like, me coming into this process, I didn't get that, but I had hoped for it. I did hope that I had met someone that was a vetted individual, because we are vetted, what we do, our businesses, everything is looked through, thoroughly, looked through before we come onto the show. So in my mind, dating in DC is very hard. You have a lot of people that they live a facade. They, driving a $75,000-$100,000 car, but they live in an apartment, or, they driving in a nice ass car, but, they living in their mama basement. And that is no judgment to anybody. But to me, those are just things that I'm looking at in my partner when you're talking about coming together and building something or having marriage, a family, a brand, anything
Right.
of that sort. Those are things that I am looking at, you know? And so I just felt like coming to that's what I was going to get. And that's not what I got at all.
The vetting process, I've heard from different people, they wish it was better. Do you, I'm going to ask you because you're an individual of your own, of course. How do you feel about that as far as the vetting process? I've heard that it's through social media. Do you think that they should change that up? Especially because I feel like the women come in looking for love. I'm not speaking for every woman, but I mean, as a general as a woman, how we are, that's the consensus I'm getting, and that the vetting process they wish was better. And I want to get your opinion on that.
I definitely will speak on that. I think that, you know, going or searching for anybody on social media is sketchy. You know what I'm saying? Social media is sketchy. How many people make fake pages just to, you know, troll and bully on someone? So I just think, you know, to really find people that are really seeking love, I think it's best for them to come to you versus you going to look for them, because it's an opportunity. It's like, oh, you're coming to me to be on TV. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll find love. And then once you filter through all of that, you find out that that person either already was married or had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or, you know, their intentions weren't pure. So I do think that it could be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more filtered and strategic for how they decide to get people on the show versus just kind of having any and everybody come on.
One of the questions I was going to ask you about is because I know you said that people told you about cast members once you got into the house, little rumors, tidbits, or whatever. Were you there when the Dakia and situation happened with Eric? Were you there, or did you come after the
No,
fact?
no, I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Did they kind of give you a little, I want to say, download about it? I mean, because it seemed like there's such a sticky. And if the thing about it for you, it got to be hard because you weren't even there. But I know that a lot of people, it's kind of a line in the sand is drawn where certain people feel a certain way or whatever. And I just kind of wonder, coming in new, um, how did you feel about it? How did you not deal with it at all because it was like, hey, I wasn't there, or because I'm pretty sure you heard something.
I was a part of the cast. I actually was there the day it happened, but I wasn't
Okay,
there when that happened. In
gotcha.
particular, like I wasn't in the area. And you know, when it comes to stuff like that, I don't particularly like to speak on things that I didn't see.
Right.
You know, I when it came down to cast picking sides, I'm one of those people that I am my own individual. And
Mm-hmm.
unless something affects me directly or it goes against my values, my morals, and my belief system, then I just kind of be like, that's not my business. You know,
Gotcha.
I might not agree with how things are handled, but to me, I feel like there's a level where adults are involved that
Mm,
they can be a certain level of conversation. And if it can't, then we can move past it. But, you know, I wish both parties the best. I have no problem with Eric. Me and him are still cool, and we do still follow each other and we still talk. And I have no issue with Dakia either. You know, I wish
gotcha.
them both well.
As far as let me see, I can say this: coming in as the new girl, and just in general, when you are the new girl coming into anything, was there any shade or a little bit of funny looks? I'm trying to be as cute as I can with this. About you coming in, I'm just being real. You're attractive, and I'm not, I'm very transparent. You're attractive, and you are new coming in, and there was already some territories being, established. So it's human nature. You coming into a situation where it's like, okay, I don't know her. Who is this? And she went talk to my dude. He's my.
There was a particular, you know, person that I feel like kind of made dating a little bit uncomfortable in the process. And instead of just letting people, you know, let people just kind of figure out what works for them and just, you know, make a decision based off just being able to date anyone and saying, okay, this doesn't work. I do feel like there was some, you know, some bad juju or bad energy kind of put out amongst the group that just kind of made it a little bit of tension. Yeah. And so I think that also kind of went to, you know, me speaking on that. I feel like the process was toxic for me. Like there was no competition. And that's not saying, I feel like every woman there was a badass B.
Right.
Like hands down, I thought every woman on my
I
cast was
agree.
cool. I feel like we represented it very well. When I showed up and I was like, yes, to the back,
Right.
everybody,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like it needed to be competition. I feel like the guys, you know, represented well. And I just feel like if love is there, it's there, you know? And so
Yeah, that's so silly.
I'm looking at the comments, particular person. But I just that wasn't my angle,
Right.
to come in there feeling like I had to compete with any woman there. And so to know that that was kind of the environment, it just made me kind of be like, I really don't want to be here. Like, I don't feel like the men could
Mm.
really be themselves. I don't feel like I feel like the women were being themselves, but I just feel like there was a particular person that just, I felt like for me coming in last made it a little bit uncomfortable.
That's unfortunate. Now, I've said this before, this is previous to you, that I feel like on every season they have a favorite cast members, and sometimes with the favorite cast members, they get a little more just different things. I'll just say it as that. Um, do you feel that's true? Or I kind of want to, I mean, if you don't want to answer, I understand that. But, and I'm not saying no names or anything. I just feel like every season there is a favorite or two. And
So I won't necessarily, I can't speak. I'm gonna go off how I feel,
okay, go
not
ahead.
based off any facts. And I'm just gonna go
Right.
off. I feel like there can be favoritism amongst the cast. I
Okay.
feel like the favoritism goes by who's willing to do whatever.
Mm,
And that's just being honest. I feel like the more you're willing to do or to, put up with stuff or to stay or to be competitive or make it to the end, I do feel like you're more favorite. Compared to you have me that's just like, F this, I got my dignity, I'm good. It's not that serious where, anything can happen. So, and to me, like I said, that's just my personal opinion. That's how I feel on it.
right. When you was allegedly, not that they call it as ghosting, we look at the description, um, ghosting the producers, or did any of the cast members know what was going on? Was there anybody you were close to that was like, that they knew what was happening, but they weren't saying anything to respect your privacy?
Some of the fellas knew that I was over the process. They did because I had asked some of them to eliminate me and vote me off. And,
Oh wow.
I feel like men being men, I was eye candy. They wanted me there, whatever.
Hmm.
However, and I could be wrong,
You be,
but that's
you being
looking
real
back,
though.
I feel like
Mm.
that's what it was. But I asked the guys to eliminate me. I was in the first week. I was like, "Hey, y'all can put me in the bottom," and they was like, "No, we like you.
Wow.
Stayed out." Da da da. And then by that time, that's when I did start to like Demetrius. So, um, that was just kind of how it happened, I guess.
A lot of people really dug into the episode about your ex, and I'm pretty sure you've gotten all kind of messages and all kind of things. People was like, "Why did you bring him on?" And then I know that one of the cast members that's on my panel was like, "Well, they don't give you a lot of." I think it was Kyra. She's a whole lot of time, and then some people say no about coming onto the show as far as the ex or somebody in your past. That not everybody gonna want to say yes. I'm gonna come on the show, so you got to find who you find.
Mhm.
And a lot of people was questioning, oh well, he's from high school, and then the whole burn the phone or throwing the phone. And I remember I said to myself, if we as women actually set back all the things we've done to a dude in our life, I was like, I didn't think it was, to me, I didn't think it was a big deal. I done some things in my past. I know many women who've done things in their past way worse than that. And I was like, that's pretty small to me, but it got to be a really big thing online.
Honestly, Kamisha, let me be real. I feel like that became such a big thing because there was nothing else to kind of jump on me about this season. I'm a beautiful
Mm,
woman. I handled myself very well. I articulate myself well. I showed up very fashionable. The men did like me. Like, I feel like there was nothing
true.
negative for, one thing I've learned as a viewer, misery loves company. And I'm not calling everybody miserable, but I feel like there's a handful of people that they look to troll people. They look, to sit there and dig up things to just try to bring them down. One thing about me is you can pull up all the dirt. I put my dirt out there on the table because I'm not ashamed of my past, and so when it came to my ex, one, I've only had 3 serious relationships. He was the first because I would say he was like my first love. I brought him on because it was easy. He lives in the area. All my other 2
Okay.
exes live in Georgia. I am in the DMV area, and my other 2 exes, not my, I'm sorry, my daughter's father lives here. My second ex lives in Georgia. I wouldn't know where to reach him, how to get in contact with him. I have no phone number, no email. We haven't spoken in 10 years, almost 10 years. And then for my child's father, he's not going to come on this show considering, one, how he's treated me. 2, he lives a lie,
A
so
lot of
who's
things.
really going to come on national television and bear their truth, considering
100%.
And that's what it was. But also I picked my ex, because one, I knew that he's seen my growth. We are still friends. He's a family friend. He's known me since, middle school, beginning of high school, all the way up to now. He's seen my growth. And yeah, I threw a phone, and that's why I spoke on it. First of all, I was very young and I was very immature, and I definitely had healing. I had childhood issues. I had anger issues. There was so many things that I have worked on myself since then, that to even see people try to like hold me up and say, like, hold me to that standard and say, oh, she's throwing phones, she's having tensions. Like, if you are still trying to say that I'm acting like I was when I was 16, that must mean that you're still acting like you were when you were 16. And that to me says a lot about you, if you're trying to stamp me or hold me accountable for things that happened how many years ago. Like, you should always be evolving and progressing in life. I am not the same woman I was yesterday, nor a week ago, nor a year ago. And if anybody tries to say that, they don't know me.
I love that. I love the response, because how in the world are you going to try to compare somebody from, because the stuff I did when I was 16, I know good and well. Look, y'all be talking about me like a dog. I did all kind of crap, especially when dudes were involved in just stupid stuff. I mean, that's it. We grow from, just like you said. So I never understood the big deal to me. I've talked about it here, and I said I don't get the big deal when women do all kind of stuff that's way beyond that, and y'all don't say anything. So
I was 16. You got women that's in their 40s and 50s doing slashing tires and breaking windows and stalking and showing up and cursing. I don't do none of that. Anything of toxicity is not me. It is a waste of my energy, it's a waste of my time. And that is why I'm the walk away queen. I walk away from anything detrimental to my health, my sanity, my being, my family, my life, me. Like, I put myself first. I love myself unconditionally. And so that's why I am able to speak out strongly about, walking away from anything that is not for your best interest or your health. I've learned from that, so I can speak on it. I can be an advocate for it.
Sorry about that. What one thing I want to ask you, you said it was toxic. What about and I'm not asking you to, but for you, what was so toxic about that environment?
I think to just know how people in that age range were acting. Again, I tell people, I don't know these people outside of this process. I can only judge them on this process. But to me, I think it still set the tone and said a lot about who they were and their character. I also think it set the tone for me wanting to get to know them outside of this process, because I'm looking at you like, well, if you'll lie or manipulate or do whatever in this process, who are you outside of this process? I did none of those things. I did not lie. I didn't manipulate. I wasn't telling people what things were said in the men's lounge or the women's lounge or anything. Like, I stayed in my lane. I dated and I did it with integrity. And so I think it was very toxic to hear, the lies that were created or the rumors. To me, a lot of it came from, I felt like the men's side, from the things that I was hearing. Yeah, it was a lot of lies and drama, or things. I think it was a lot, men being men, things of ego to make it seem like, oh, she likes me more, or, oh, we have more of a connection. And even now the process is over, I'm still hearing stuff and I'm just like, what? Me and this person didn't even have a connection like that, or so it is what it is. But I think to me that was the toxic part, because that was everything that I didn't want, nor I had time to deal with. And so to see that that's how people were moving, who I thought were going to be like big sisters, big brothers to me, even if it wasn't a love connection, to see that was the environment that they created and they felt so strongly being in that environment. That's when I felt like, let me remove myself, because this is not what I'm about. This is not my energy. This is not my frequency. This is not how I move. And I had to leave.
Who did you actually have connections with? I think there is a mix up with that. In your opinion, or period, who did you have the connections with besides Demetrius?
Donovan.
And that was it.
Me and Paul did have a connection, maybe like the first week. So at the pool party, we had a really good talk. Way longer than, us talking about like the whole my age thing. I think that was just kind of like a clip that they used to show why I'm dating the older men in the season. Because of course me quitting, it kind of edited out a lot of me. They had to still show me because I was at the pool party. I'm, at this point, my name's being brought up, but they didn't want to show as much of me because they knew my story wasn't going to be, I didn't make it to the end. So I'm not a huge factor in the story at this point. But me and Paul talked, some things happened, and we just kind of grew apart, and we knew that we were not for each other. But I think me and Demetrius probably had the strongest connection out of all the guys, and then Donovan. But with Donovan, it just started to feel more of like a friendship. And it's funny because now watching the season, I do see his connection with him and Sabrina, him, Dakia, him and Carmen, and I can understand why he had a better connection with them. Like we had a connection, but to me it was more like a big bro, spiritual. Like we was vibing, but it wasn't. I felt like a chemistry, like a physical.
I got you.
Type of
the organic chemistry.
Yeah.
The scene where Paul mentions, because they mention you a few times. They mention you. Donovan mentions you in the date where you weren't there. No, I'm not Donovan. I'm sorry, Paul. When he's like, I don't know where you are. Is that true thing? They were looking for you. That they really did not know where you were, or did that just is that some part of the just a fluff to write it in there because you weren't there for that episode because you'd already left?
No, Cass did not know that I was there. Yeah, they did not know. Cass had no idea until I told them. I was actually on set.
Oh wow.
I was there. Yeah, I wasn't there the first day though. I was not able to make it. I had business that was actually going on that I had to do. And so I was going to come later that night, the first day, and I can make it. So I ended up showing up the next day, and they had like a whole scene of Tina's not here. Where's Tina?
Yeah.
It was right upstairs. No one knew.
Right.
And that I think that was probably one of the situations where I was just kind of like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm over it. Like I'm really at that point, I really had checked 100% out.
Right.
And I was like, I'm done. Like these guys aren't worth it. The situation isn't worth it. I'm over it.
Look at the best friend day when he was like, "Did you eat?" You was like, "I already ate." So I was like, "I can't."
Like let me be so real with you. That date and my date with my ex did not go down like that at all. It did not. That was editing. It was editing. My date with, so you just brought it up with Paul, not Paul, Sabrina, Phil. That's why I said Phil, and Donovan. That actually was a really good date. All in all, it was fun. It really was. We were just bouncing off of each other. I thought Sabrina looked beautiful. It felt like a double date. It felt like me and Phil were on a date, and Donovan and Sabrina were on a date. And I think also in that moment, that's when I really opened my eyes to, because I didn't know Donovan and Sabrina had a connection like that until that date. And to see, I didn't know, because one thing, I wasn't asking who had a connection. Like, it's not my business. I wasn't asking who do you like, who's
you were just dating.
I didn't care. What was for me was for me. If a guy told me he wasn't feeling me, I would respect it. We're dating. It's a process. And so in that moment, we were there for maybe like an hour, I believe. It was fun. It was cool. All of that was all editing, because y'all have to realize, there's multiple cameras. They're catching you different angles. There's so much footage that whenever it happens, they have enough footage to be able to create any storyline that they want. And because I had quit, that was my last date. So because I had quit, it was easy to tie in, my ex sharing a story when we were 16, because in that moment with the date with my ex, he was telling my growth. He was like, yeah, Tina used to be this, yeah, she used to have anger, she da-da-da, but over the years, she's this, she's that, she's became a wonderful mom, business owner. And that's why I picked him. He was the perfect person, ex or candidate, to really know who I was from a child to who I am now at 32 years old, because we're still friends. We talk like once a month or every few weeks,
right?
To catch up. He was the perfect person to say, listen, I know who Tina is, who y'all seeing, who is right in front of you, this person who is showing up healed and da-da, this is who she really is. And that's exactly what he did. He broke me down. Now, edited, created a whole nother scenario, because he did say, like, yeah, she'll cut your ass off. Excuse my language. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
He will, she will slice and dice it. And that's exactly, and it's the truth. I will cut anybody, any person that we used to be friends, if I felt like they were not a genuine friend to me, or the shade was real, or anything that to me is not considered a friend, I will cut you off. Hard.
It needs to be, unfortunately. I mean, it has to be like that.
So what to me, to me, I think when people learn that it's okay to cut people off, that's when a lot of people will be more happy. That's when they'll be at peace. Why you at home stressing somebody that ain't stressing you? Why you at home wondering why somebody ain't inviting you out? Like, you need to learn, pick people that are picking you. If they ain't calling your phone, if they ain't asking you to hang out, if they obviously ain't for you, and it's okay. Move on in life.
It really is. It really is.
That's when you elevate yourself, you elevate your energy to know that you deserve better. And that's when God will provide those people in your life. But we have to stop holding on to people that they don't matter. Or we think that we get caught up in how long we've known people, we get caught up in the moments. Like, we need to look at how those people are treating us and how they're making us feel.
Somebody has a question. Why were you upstairs? I guess when you said you were upstairs, I highlighted that question. Say, why were you upstairs? Because you said earlier you.
I don't know. I have no idea. When I came, they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna have you." I went upstairs, got my makeup done. I waited. I waited. I waited. I waited.
Interesting. She's not gonna answer that, y'all. That's interesting. How did you handle? No. Let me ask you this first. Now, if your good Judy comes to you tomorrow, I'm like, girl, they hit me up in my DM. I want to go on the show. What are you gonna say? Like, yo, good. Your girl, like, she's seen you on the show. She's seen your experience. She's whatever, has her own reservations, and she comes to you one day and says, I got a DM from them to do the show. What are you gonna say? Because that's happened to people before.
I'm gonna ask her what's her reasons for going on the show.
Mm.
And I'm gonna keep it real and give her my experience on the show, and then I'm gonna tell her do what she feel to do with it and make the best decision for her. So I never tell anybody not to do anything, because their path is their path. But all I can do is give you, a signal or a member. Let me give you a little bit. Tell you what are you getting. What are you getting yourself into? What are you signing up to? What to expect? And then at that point, your experience might not be like my experience. And I think that's another place that I speak from. Like, I'm not speaking from all my castmates or previous castmates or even castmates after me who have the experience that I had. I can only speak because I was a third curveball. I came in a month after everyone else. I was the last chick. Like, my whole experience was different from everybody from every other season. So I just feel like I can only speak from my experience, so teach his own.
They say in the chat, hold on, they say in the chat that Judy Winslow that they manipulated the scene, because if you're saying that you were upstairs, they're pretty much saying that they didn't want him to have any options besides Sabrina. And now I have said this to myself, and this is just me speaking my opinion, that I do believe that editing and narrating, because sometimes like a scene is manipulated to us. I don't know how it looks to cast, because it's you guys living this life on camera, even though they are editing and blah blah blah. How do you feel about that? Because every cast member has a different opinion about it.
Are you speaking from like being in the moment?
Yeah, because to be honest, and I don't think they realize it, to fans and to other people, it does look like it's a manipulated scene, because especially when you hear cast members say, well, that's not what I said completely. I said a little bit of that, but you didn't get the whole scene or whatever, Editing.
Editing is real. I tell anybody straight up, I knew about editing before coming onto this show. Like, because people were like, oh, you knew what you were getting yourself into. You knew you were going on TV. Yes, I knew about editing. But let me be honest. I thought editing was like, you have to shorten the scene. I didn't think that they created characters, or that they created a narrative, or that they can make you into be who they want you to be. Those are two different things when you're just prepared for editing. And I think people are not really aware of the lengths that it can go when you know that you're just being open and vulnerable and yourself, and you're sharing your strengths and your weaknesses, because that's what you do when you're dating. You really want to know what someone's about. And so in those moments, you're just talking or whatever. And the next thing you know, that one sentence is being edited and clipped in a total different scene. And you're like, wait, what? I didn't say that right there, and I said this right there. And so I mean, I'm not mad at my editing. I don't feel like my editing was that bad. What was shown was said. It just wasn't shown how it was said in that sequence, and making it seem like my ex just came on TV saying I'm throwing phones now, and
100%.
No, or even me showing up to the date with Donovan. Yeah, they had to make it seem like I was checked out, because mentally, physically, spiritually, I was checked out of the whole season and process at that date by that time. So the editing is real. It tells a story, but it's just how it's edited to viewers where it can really make something seem like what it isn't.
See, this is the thing. The thing about it. That's why I was saying about that scene, because you said you had a great time on the scene, but when we look at it, it looks like you're not there. Like when he
Yeah.
asked that one question about did you eat already ate already, and it made it mention a casual conversation, but they had the little behind it and everything, where it's like, duh, 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 you know,
Mhm. I feel like
like
they
something.
wanted to make it seem like me and Sabrina were like we're gonna have an issue being on a date with each other. Because even when they show the clip of Sabrina, and it's like, oh, what is she doing here? Da, 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 da. I mean, maybe Sabrina
Mm.
did say it. I don't know. Me and Sabrina don't have a relationship, so I don't know how she was feeling about me at that point. But I do feel like that might have even been exaggerated to make it seem like there was an issue, because she never showed me any type of animosity, attitude, rolling the eyes, or anything when we were around each other. So even when I saw that clip, I was just kind of like, I don't know. Maybe she did feel some way. Maybe she didn't. I don't know.
Network. Okay, like, well, I've heard about not. You don't. Well, you weren't there in the beginning about the food thing, but I've heard that's a consistent thing about not eating, have plenty of liquor. If you were able, if they came to you guys as cast members, like, what would we do? What would we be able to do differently to make this better? Where maybe a cast member would not want to self eliminate, or may want to take this process seriously or stay longer, whatever. What suggestions would you, because you've been through it, even though you came in
Mhm.
late, you still went through it and you ended up leaving because of the toxicity of it all. So what would you suggest to them if they would actually ask you guys?
Honestly, I don't have no suggestions because they're not going to do it. So,
Damn.
it
That's
doesn't
messed up.
really, matter what I say or what any of us say, because their job is to make sure that they create entertainment.
I understand that, but at the same time, to me, you guys are the meat and potatoes of that machine. And to me, you guys should be, I don't know, the front runner. Y'all should be made happy, at least fed.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
honestly, Kamisha, I wholeheartedly agree with you, but I don't think they care, because people are still going to sign up to do the process. People are still going to watch the process. No
Mhm.
matter how we say, our side, or tell the truth, or talk about editing, or whatever, you still have viewers that they do not care. They believe what they want to believe. They, get these perceptions from watching, the show, and that's what they want to keep in their head, and I think it's more energy. I posted the other day about toxicity. It's better
Mhm.
to leave a toxic situation because it will change you before you change it.
And that's
So,
insightful.
and so that's just really how I feel. I mean, some environments you just can't change. Just big fish, little fish. When you're
Yes.
a little fish, the big fish don't give a dang about the little small fish. They eat you up. So,
Period. 100%.
I just, if it's a successful show, let it keep doing its thing. It's nothing that I can say because it ain't gonna matter.
Hey Jay, he says you are great. You
Hey
Tina is dope.
Jay, how
She
are
is
you?
super dope.
Thank
I
you.
want to ask you this now. Bloggers and Ready to Love fans, they go hard in the paint. How in the world did you? Because everybody talked to you said they didn't know how deep it gets with the fan base and the bloggers and how it's such a thing. Did you know about it before coming in, or did you find out about it like everybody else? Like, oh wow, I didn't know it was like that.
The fans, the viewers.
Fans and the
Nah,
bloggers.
I was prepared for them, boy. Let me tell you, I was. Listen, I told you, I was a viewer first. All right, listen, I loved me some Ready to Love before coming on here, so I was in some of those groups too, and I see how, like, I used to go hard for some of the cast, like. What is it, Vern? First of all, that's like, she don't know me, but that's low key like my Aquarian twin sister. Like, I just
Right.
loved her on that season. And I remember in one of the groups they were like going in, and I would be like, like, I'm
Right.
going for the defense. And so it's dope to see that there are viewers like that for me, that,
Yes.
they're going hard for me.
Yes.
Like, I don't know her. Da, 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 da. And so I think I was mentally prepared. I don't get caught up in what people think about me,
Okay.
or whatever, because they don't know me. I look at it as, either if you want to
Mm-hmm.
get to know me, you're gonna try. You'll ask the questions. You can ask me anything and I will answer. I might not give you the answer you want to hear, but
Right.
I answer it, But to me, that's just, you have to take the time. If you just want to believe what you see, then I'm okay with that as well. You ain't meant to be around me.
Period. Period. Okay. So after it, this is this is over with for you, and your next chapter of your life has begun already. Because this is our pre-recording all this. I know
Mhm.
your podcast is doing great, and I wanted to talk more about that. Did your podcast get started because of the show? I know the title "Walkaway Queen" and all of that is tied in a little bit. I want to hear about that a little bit.
You know, it's crazy. I've been talking about starting either a podcast or YouTube with the same concept since I left my daughter's father.
Mm,
And that, I just been talking about it, but I knew living in my truth and really speaking about certain things was really going to take strength. I have him always because my child's father is a narcissist, so he's always threatening me and trying to say he got his power moves and da da da. And it just really took me getting to the place where it was like, you know what? Do what you need to do, but I'm not gonna do me. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm just really in a place where I don't mind speaking about the things that I went through, even with him, and my child's father, because that right there is just a story in itself where I have so many trials and tribulations that I can speak out
wow.
where I'm like, know your worth. Like if I can help one person to get out of a toxic relationship or to know those red flags, I'm all for speaking out about it. Like I have no regrets of the things that I've been through. And so to know that I can help someone that might be going through it right now or been through it and they're afraid to speak out about it, or even other things outside of my last relationship. There's so much that I've learned about myself in my 32 years of life, even from a little girl to who I am now, that I want to speak out on. And I feel like we are just in a place where people just need to learn to love on themselves and pick themselves first. And I feel like I'm the perfect example of that.
Make sure
So
you guys, Demeter, my moderator right now, is posting the podcast throughout the chat.
thanks,
Um,
Anita.
she's such a good moderator, and she's also a content creator as well. She's one of my mentees. Also, shout out to my mentees in the chat.
Thank
She is posting your all your links actually, so you guys go check out her podcast. So from your podcast, I know that you're gonna be pouring more yourself into everything now that this is all over with. You have probably more things going on besides Ready to Love. What else is coming up for Tina?
Ooh, so I'm actually jumping into IT. I'm becoming a software developer.
Oh wow, that's
Yes, I
amazing.
am. Big things popping. So that's on my list. I'm actually in the process of working on a nonprofit as well. So I have a few things up my sleeves. I want to say just keep an eye out on me. My main thing is just really helping other people heal. That's I love doing that, even if it's just talking to people. So I really want to focus on my podcast. And then my nonprofit will be helping people as well. So if anybody's just interested in my journey and, things that I have going on, please follow me. I'll follow you back or, hit me up. I would love to talk to you. If you have a story that you want to share, you've walked away from a situation, a relationship, family, friends, anything, you've been through anything, I would love for you guys to come on my podcast. Please reach out to me. You can contact me on Instagram or you can email me at thewalkawayqueen@gmail.com. I would love to have people come on and, just share
I'll
what
come
they've
on
been
there.
through. I mean, listen,
Look, set it
listen,
up.
we
I will
all
come on
have a
there.
testimony. We
You can
all
ask
have
me
a
anything.
testimony.
I'm so serious. I said think about it. I love to go on stuff like that. I have my own podcast, so I love it. So I will go on there and talk. I'll answer anything. It's look, period. No hold. So when you
We already got some things coming up our sleeves anyway.
yes, she's gonna be on the hey guys for the Miami Ready to Love. She is going to grace our presence on the panel. I'm super excited because Miami will be juicy, and
It
she's gonna be on
is.
here giving her
It is.
commentary. She's straight up, so she's gonna be added
Ah.
addition.
I'm gonna try to be nice, but the realist is always in me. I gotta always be real, but I can always be graceful. So
Yes, y'all follow her IG as well. Let me see. One more question I have to ask you. Has this changed? Has this changed how you date now?
oh yeah. Well,
Oh,
yes, yes.
okay,
Well, my perception of dating had already changed based off my experience with my child's father. So even
okay.
coming into Ready to Love, I was already like trying to be discerning. But seeing how people like it really taught me a lot about people. Like you think you know people, but then when you're put in a whole environment and you see how people move, it really lets me just be like, people can be very conniving and very, what's the word? I don't want to say
Oh,
evil, but
okay. Ooh,
yeah.
somebody said it's gonna be a myth, but I'm watching. Oh, it's gonna be a myth, but we all gonna be watching that. Okay, okay. I said one more question. I'm so sorry. My last question. Are you single? My last
I
question.
am
That really is my
very
last question.
single. Yes, I am single. I'm not. I mean, I won't say I'm not dating. I'm just doing me. I'm just waiting for
Mm-hmm.
God to send the right person, you know, and I feel like that person is going to match me mentally, physically, spiritually. I think that person is going to really ask the why are you like this, or who are you, and, you know, what do you want to be, or what are you trying to accomplish? I think those are very important questions for just someone that wants to be around me versus them just trying to figure it out, you know, and trying to assume that they know who I am based off what they see or social media or anything of that case. You know, so I'm not pressed to be with anybody. I'm dating myself. It's fun.
They said, are you friends with anybody from the show? I
Not
forgot
from
that.
my season, no. Okay, I'm lying. From my season, I'm still okay with Eric. We talk here and there. Me and Tori. Um Donovan, Carmen is cool. Donovan and Carmen are cool. I speak to them here and there,
Okay.
and that's it. I'm actually more cool with last season's cast than I am my season's cast.
And that's normally how it goes, unfortunately. Now, I want to say a shout out to one of my mentees in the chat. Birthday is today. Confessions of Reality Queen. Birthday is today.
Happy birthday!
So, guys, please say happy birthday. Throw it in the chat. Birthday bubbles. What I mean, the balloons, whatever. Y'all, please give her a shout out on her Instagram. But I want to say thank you again for coming on. This was everything. I enjoyed this interview. See, the interview for me, where it's like I could just talk because she's like that anyway. That's literally how she is how she is. So
That's like
you
the
can
top.
have, yes, you can have a conversation with her. It's everything. And so I really want to be one of my favorite. I have more than one, but maybe my same thing to me behind the scenes. But this would be one of my favorite interviews. I really had a good time. Somebody said Monique. Okay, Monique wants Tori's number.
Listen, I don't give people numbers out. I gotta hit them up and ask them if I can give it out first. But I got you, girl. I got you. I text
Oh,
them right now
Jesus.
for you, okay?
Oh my God. All right, guys. Look, all her links are I'm sorry, I can't stutter. All her links are in the description, and they've been dropping throughout the chat. Make sure you guys go check out her podcast and both her Instagrams, and everything. I have her link tree also in the description as well. Go check out all her links, and she'll be here next season for Miami. You know, I will promote anything that Ready to Love cast do even after the fact. So I'll be posting anything she's got going on. And yes, people in the chat are saying thank you. They loved you. They loved you.
Thank you, guys. I,
It was
I
a
want to
great
thank
interview.
everybody for tuning in. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for wanting to know my side of the story. Kamisha, thank you so much. You actually were the blogger who knew the hell I was before Curveballs was even out, girl. Like, she be dropping the tea.
People, look. Hold on, let me get my tea. See,
Listen,
it is.
listen, piping hot. For real. I was like, I remember you hit me. I was like, oh, you know who I am. It's all season. All season you've been knowing stuff. And I'm just like, yo, like you really are one of the the best YouTubers for knowing stuff before it comes out. You really are. I don't know who your spy is, but listen, keep them close to you, girl.
Yes. Also, too, guys, let's pour a little drink out for everybody. Want to get out of here? Record a drink of wine before you go. And again, thank you so much, Tina, for coming on. Again, guys, you guys have a great, great day. And y'all know how I end all of my lives with this. Wait a minute, what's my thing? I'm sorry, I can't find my. Where's my end? Where's my end? Oh my God, there you go. Lord Jesus. All right, y'all, I'm gone. Bye.